Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Moves with Melanie off the mat. And today we're going to talk about something that I like to call this wasn't on my bingo card. And that is what led me to become a integrative nutrition health coach and also start my own business, Moves with Melanie. So if you don't know me personally, I'll give a little bit of background about what my professional life was like before starting the business and then what led me into starting the business itself. So I am a pharmacist by training. I went to college, I went to pharmacy school, and I practiced as a pharmacist in a variety of settings for about 15, 16 years. And during that time, I also got into teaching group exercise classes. And, teaching group exercise was not something that I ever thought about doing. It was really someone in the classes that I was taking a lot of kickboxing at the time, that planted the seed and said, you would be really good at this. You're really good. You're as a student. I think you have the vibe and the energy to become a teacher. And I thought to myself, huh? You want me to put on a microphone and go up there and do that? I don't know. But it was one of those things where like the seed was planted. And at the time, my exercise class of choice was something called turbo kick, which is a form of kickboxing. And so later that year, I went through turbo kick training just to sort of see what it was like. I love the format so much. Why not go through training and just sort of see? And that first initial training is really what led me into, oh, I really do like teaching. I really do like being in the front and, guiding people and setting them on their way. And subsequently, I also went through Zumba training. And again, that was not something that was ever on my radar. Truth be told, I had taken one Zumba class before and I walked out after the first song. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't follow along. The teacher wasn't talking. He was whistling. I was like, this is not fun for me. Like, I need someone to tell me what to do. But what ultimately led me to become a Zumba instructor was the gym that I was teaching at the time really was heavily promoting the Zumba classes and not so much the kickboxing classes. So in my thought, I was like, well, if I want to stay relevant in the space, I ought to give Zumba a try. So I started taking more Zumba classes as a student. And what I learned was, it really is the instructor that you have that can really make a difference in whether or not you like the format. And so I found that I got involved with a really, really good instructor. And later on that year, took Zumba training. And after going through the Zumba certification process, that's what really led me to fall in love with the format. It's dance, it's a form of expression. You can just let loose and just have so much fun. And I really wanted to stay relevant and I really wanted to have my own class. But at the time, even though Zumba was like all over the gym schedule, there just really wasn't any opening. So I was in a period of what I now know to be as waiting. So while I was waiting, going back to my professional track, I was steadily trying to climb up the professional ladder within the field of pharmacy. And I did that for a very long time. But over time, as I started to get my own Zumba class and get my own Zumba following, and then I was still climbing the professional ladder, it just really became apparent that my passions no longer fell on the pharmacy side, they fell in the group exercise arena. And I wrestled with that for a very long time, to the point where I made a decision many years ago that I was like, you know what, I don't really want to climb the career ladder anymore. Like, I'm cool with where I'm at. I'm cool with the position that I'm in. And I really want to pursue my side hustle, which was group exercise. And so that was like my first come to Jesus moment. My second come to Jesus moment came after or as a result of the pandemic. Being able to be at home and, take care of myself and really get into teaching virtual classes and like expressing my creativity that way further cemented that group exercise is what I wanted to do. And so long story short, when things came to a head and I really had to make a decision about what the next chapter of my life was going to look like. It was something that my therapist said that really tipped me over the edge into making the decision. I had been talking to her for like 2, 3 years about this dilemma, about how I'm just not happy in the workplace. It's just like my passion's just not there anymore. I'm just angry. I'm just, whatever. Even though I was good at my job, even though I liked what I was doing, it just like didn't fulfill me anymore. And I just felt kind of stuck. And she said something that just like was mind blowing. And she said, it's time for you to make a change. It's time for you to leave. And I was like, what do you mean it's time for me to leave? How am I supposed to make money? Um, and she said, you're no longer aligned with what you're doing. Your passions lie elsewhere. And the only way you're ever going to get to where you want to be in life is to make a change. And I thought to myself, I was like, you're right. You're right. But it tapped really right into here, this place called fear, and stepping outside of my comfort zone. And I was like, well, I've worked really hard to create this life that I have for myself, leaving, the career field that I, one, went to school for, and two, I've only known, is scary. Like, again, what am I going to do for money? Like, how am I going to support myself? But I never forgot what she said. And so, when push came to shove, I was put in a position where, I had to make a decision. And I said, you know what? I think all the signs are telling me that it's time to go. I feel like God is telling me it's time to go. He's going to make a way for me. He's going to provide more abundance for me. And so let me just take this step of faith. And so I left. I left the field of pharmacy, and I said, okay, not really sure what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to use this as my opportunity to pursue fitness full time. So that was the first step. The second thing I realized was that I no longer wanted to work for someone. I wanted to be my own boss. And at the same time, I still wanted to utilize the pharmacy and the clinical knowledge and the work experience that I had. I didn't want it to all go to waste because, again, I went to school, took out loans, paid off the loans, so like we're using it. And thirdly, I didn't want to get burnt out from teaching a million classes a week and like not having any time for myself. So I said, what can I do to create something that is not only sustainable, but allows me to take care of myself and still use my, clinical knowledge and also pursue fitness full time. So that's where health coaching came in. I had heard of health coaching before. I didn't really know what it was. I was like, oh, I'll just go do a health coaching program online, thinking it was like 8 hours and I could just get a certificate. But the more that I did research into the field and what it entails, the more I realized I was like, oh, this is like legit study. Like I have to really make the investment, time, financial, and otherwise to make this happen. And so after researching a few programs, I ultimately decided to go through the integrative nutrition course through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, primarily because they had reputable faculty members. When I looked at the faculty list of people that were going to be doing the modules, there were names like known names that I had heard of before, that I was like, okay, this seems like something I can do. They have an accelerated track that I can, if I focus on, I can get through it in 6 months, and then that'll open up a whole bunch of new doors. So that's what I did. I enrolled, I started at the end of March, and I really spent the last 6 months focusing on this program, soaking up as much as I could in regards to the science of health coaching and also how to build the business. While I was doing that, I am building up Moves with Melanie. I'm outlining what I want that to look like, what the framework is going to be, and how I want my baby to come to fruition. And so here we are. I've graduated from health coaching. I held my launch event for Moves with Melanie last weekend. And even though I'm at the infancy stages of my business, I'm super excited. Like no day has been the same. I've been overwhelmed, I've been daunted, I've been frustrated, but I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing at this point in my life and with my time and my resources. And I just want to create an opportunity for others that I know and that I don't know to take the best care of themselves, but also empower them to live the best, most vibrant, most happy, most healthy version of their lives. So that's how I got into it. Pharmacy, group exercise, not really feeling aligned, having to have conversations with myself, having several come to Jesus moments with myself and really being honest with myself about what I wanted and what I wanted life to look like, where I am now. And here we are. And so again, I'm at the beginning stages, but I'm super excited about, what all the possibilities um, are. So, if you want to learn more about me and my health coaching and my fitness instruction and just Moves with Melanie in general, visit my website, mymoveswithmelanie.com. You can schedule a complimentary meet and greet with me to learn more about the services that I offer, be it fitness instruction, be it health coaching, be it medication review, because I am doing that as a licensed pharmacist in the states of Maryland and Virginia, because that's where I'm licensed. Um, and let's have a conversation. Let's get to know each other and let's talk about your wellness goals and go from there. So, thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I hope that this helps you learn a little bit more about me. And I will see you again very soon. Bye.